This year, Russia will prepare 15 divisions stationed fully or partially in Belarus from where they could launch an offensive on NATO countries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said this during his communication with journalists at the Munich Security Conference in response to a question about whether, if Ukraine agrees to a so-called compromise peace, there are risks that Russia could attack Ukraine again after some time. Zelensky said this would happen if there are no security guarantees. However, the threat is not only for Ukraine. And do you know what is happening in Belarus? This year, Russia will prepare 15 divisions for training and reinforcing the situation on the Belarusian front. We believe they will all or partially be on Belarusian territory. This will amount to 10 to 100 to 150,000 people. And I'm not sure that this large group will launch an attack specifically on Ukraine. It could happen. They could go to Ukraine, as they did in 2022, or they could go to Poland or the Baltic states, he said. Zelensky added that Putin is likely preparing for a war against NATO countries next year. I don't know this for sure, but I think that's his plan. Based on all the information I get from intelligence, I believe he's preparing for a war with NATO countries next year, he said. The president of Ukraine emphasized that there is no 100% certainty about such a development of events and expressed hope that this can be prevented. Just like in 2022, they could move forward towards Ukraine, or they could go to Poland, or the Baltics. And I believe this is his idea, he said. God bless, we will stop this crazy guy, Zelensky added. Earlier, the Danish Defense Intelligence Service issued a similar warning, saying that Russia may find the opportunity to launch a large-scale war on Europe within 5 years if Moscow perceives NATO as militarily weakened or politically divided. In early 2022, Russia used Belarus as a launch pad for its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This was preceded by Minsk, allowing Russian armed forces to stage weeks-long military drills, which were a facade for the planned invasion. On the 24th of February, Russian troops crossed into Ukraine from Belarus, soon occupying the northern parts of Kyiv and Chernihiv regions. Russian forces have entered Kyiv's satellite cities of Bucha, Irpin and Hostomel from Belarus, occupying the area until late March. According to NATO estimates, the attack force that entered Ukraine from Belarus had up to 30,000 Russian troops. Last December, Putin's ally Alexander Lukashenko said his country was hosting dozens of Russian nuclear weapons and would prepare facilities for the planned deployment of Moscow's newest hypersonic ballistic missile.
There is surge in cases of injured Russian servicemen being sent back to front lines in Ukraine. A video posted in a Ukrainian Telegram channel shows what appears to be an injured Russian soldier being shoved into a KAMAZ truck to be taken to a battle zone. The injured soldier is seen forcefully taken away from the area by a few military personnel and then shoved into KAMAZ. The soldier's crutch falls to the ground in the process. The Telegram channel said these were the wounded soldiers of the 503rd Motorized Rifle Regiment of the Russian Armed Forces who are sent to the front for slaughter, like cattle. Another video published online showed the injured Russian soldiers in the front line. Numerous videos have emerged in social networking websites, showing forced conscription of injured Russians who have complained that they were being sent to the front line without receiving proper treatment. Some of these soldiers are in crutches and can barely walk. These cases illustrate manpower crisis within the Russian army. Russian troops also complain about lack of military supplies, weapons and even food. Over 110,000 Russian soldiers have been injured in the war against Ukraine since February 2022.
Это полный здесь пиздец. Поэтому вот смотрите, как ребята уезжают на войну, блядь, которые не должны ехать. Просто ВПшники заталкивают в КАМАЗ. Ну, сейчас очередного. Вот, с костылями человек. Его ломают. Это просто невыносимо, не передать. Это пипец.
In Peru, one of two lanes of a bridge above a river collapsed on Thursday night, sending a passenger bus plunging into the Chancay River below. According to Associated Press, the bridge is on a key highway running along Peru's Pacific coast. The accident left at least 2 dead and 38 injured, authorities said on Friday. Police said the double-decker bus belonged to the Cruz del Norte company and was crossing the Chancay Bridge shortly after 11 p.m. on Thursday night. A driver and a passenger were killed, the company reported. The bridge is more than 50 years old and is just over 4 kilometers from the port of Chancay, China's largest port investment in the Pacific, which was inaugurated in November.